Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 24th of June 2018. We're going to reflect on Luke chapter 1, 57 to 66 and then spring to verse 80. Listen. Now the time came for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown her great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. On the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him Zechariah after his father. But his mother said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "None of your relatives has this name." Then they began motioning to his father to find out what name he wanted to give him. He asked for a writing tablet and wrote, "His name is John." And all of them were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue freed, and he began to speak, praising God. Fear came over all their neighbors, and all these things were talked about throughout the entire hill country of Judea. All who heard them pondered them and said, "What then will this child become? For indeed the hand of the Lord was with him." The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the wilderness until the day he appeared publicly to Israel. The Gospel of the Lord. And he was in the wilderness until the day he appeared publicly to Israel. We don't know for how long John was in the wilderness, but I am guessing it was for years. Now, what was he doing there in the wilderness? He was seeking to see the face of God, seeking to hear the voice of God, seeking to know the heart of God. And what did God do? We find out later in the same gospel. In the 15th year, I'm reading from chapter 3. In the 15th year of the reign of Emperor Tiberius, when Pontius Pilate was governor of Judea, and Herod was ruler of Galilee, and his brother Philip, ruler of the region of Iturea and Trachonitis, and Lysanias, ruler of Abilene, during the high priesthood of Annas and Caiaphas, the word of God came to John, son of Zechariah, in the wilderness. Quite a mouthful here, but there is a tremendous lesson to be learned here. Luke speaks of emperors and governors, of rulers and priests, all people to be reckoned with. Yet, the word of God bypasses royalty and clergy and goes to a single man in the wilderness. Why? Because this man sought God. Do we? We can find God only in the wilderness. Now, this need not be in the desert, although I would not dissuade you if you wanted to go there. I went for a week in the desert once, and it was a profound experience. But this need not be in the desert, and this need not be in the mountains. This can be in your room. A few days ago, I think it was the 20th of June, we reflected on how Jesus told us that when we prayed, we should go into our room and lock the world out. What do we do there? Exactly what John the Baptist did. And if we seek him to see his face, to hear his voice, and to know his heart, the word of God will come to us as it did to him. Just know that it will take a little more than 10 minutes for that to happen. Here's hoping that you will spend hours in the wilderness getting to know God. God bless you.